it's time to connect our storyboards over to our code, our View Controller class, if you remember from the last module. So we currently have this sort of screen. Yours might be a little different, and that's fine. Everyone likes to express themselves artistically in a different way. But we're going to look at how to connect all of these fields into the main view controller of our app. So here I've got my project open with my main storyboard open. And if you remember from last time, we have a text field where we enter some text. And just before we carry on with the outlets and actions, I actually want to show you something. If you click this text field, over in the properties pane or the attributes panel, down here you can have some placeholder text. So inside of this, we can type enter Celsius. And this is going to show a light gray color of text, which we can see up here as enter Celsius. This is a nice clue to tell our users what's going on. So it's your first sort of introduction to user experience or user design. Now, if I click this text box again, what we actually want to have in here is a number. We don't actually want letters or anything weird. So what we can do, if we scroll down in the properties section, we can specify a keyboard type. So when I click that down, I can have numbers punctuation, I can have a phone pad or a number pad. A number pad sounds like the correct thing that I want. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't put other things in, I think, although it might be different in iOS 10, because they might copy, say, some text from somewhere else and paste it in here, which wouldn't be a number necessarily. So later on, we're still going to put some checks in to make sure this is a number. But anyway, back to the main point of this lecture. Sorry, I digress. We actually want to connect all of these to our code. Now, if you remember, we select our view controller and we select this assistant editor in the top right. Now, when I click that, it opens up the associated view controller. And if I close that, I'll just show you where that's set. Once we have the view controller selected and we have its attributes showing on the right, we can click the class inspector or identity inspector. And right at the top, we have this class called view controller. This drop-down box will give us a list of standard UI items or view controller items and various classes that we've created in our project. And you can autofill this by typing view controller, of course. So what that does is it goes and looks for this class over here on the left of viewcontroller.swift, and it kind of links those two items. So when we click the assistant editor at the top, that now opens the associated class, which means I can start linking items from in here. Now, you can either select the item itself to link, or you can select this list that starts with view, enter Celsius, and it's got this little label that says small f that tells us this is a text field. So we can connect all of these things. If I hold down my control button, select the text field either in the image or in the list, and drag it over to view controller, I can outlet it, and this is just creating a reference so the class knows about it. Let's put this as temp entry. Now I've put two e's in there, whoops. And we can go ahead and connect that. And then I'm going to do the same with the result label. Control, click and drag. And I'm going to call this result label. And generally, you want to append these with the type of item it is. So it's really obvious later on when you come to edit your code. Now the button is going to be slightly different. We don't really want a reference to it. We just want to know when it's clicked. So if we click and drag that over, and I drop that somewhere down here below my functions, I'm going to change from outlet to action. And action means this will get fired when this event, which we can choose from, gets triggered. And touch up inside is the classic button push. So let's call this convert clicked. And hit connect. So this action, this function, notice how it creates a function for you, is fired whenever that button is clicked. Okay, so all of these should fire. Now I'm going to close my assistant editor by clicking this lined icon at the top right. I'm going to open my view controller, and then inside of here, I am going to make sure that my function actually calls. So I'm going to do something called printing back to my console. I'm going to print convert clicked. And all this does is send us back a message to Xcode as a debug message. Now if I hit play and compile this for whatever simulator you want to choose, I'm choosing the iPhone SE. When we click the button, we should get this print message. So let's click convert, and then I'm going to go back to Xcode and look down here in the console, we have convert clicked. The other thing we should test is if we click enter Celsius and see if we get a number pad that comes up, and we do. But if I press and hold this 8, I might... Oh no, I don't get a TUV. That's great. We just get pure numbers. Okay, that is how we connect our main screen to code using outlets and actions, and also how we restrict a text entry box to be just numbers. In the next section, we're going to actually write the code of this app to produce the result when we click convert to Fahrenheit.